Hello, everyone. How are you? Here, let you know what happened on Alone. Season 9, Episode 5. A lot happened for some of the contestants. It showed Jessie on day 22. She's still working long and hard at her shelter, trying to get it done, set up. It's a basically all that showed about her. Lee, it showed her on day 22. She spooked a spooked an animal, and she went to shoot at the bow and arrow in the woods, and it took off into the thick deadfall and brush. So she started stepping on the deadfall and trying to scare it back out, but no luck. So she moved on. So she decided to sing a Aboriginal Cree people chant for the Cree people. Apparently it gives you good luck. It worked. She tried a luck fish and caught a nice medium-sized brook trout. She took back that thing back to camp, skinned it, gutted it, got rid of the bones, cooked it right up. She's out giving me up to 800 calories, and she even ate the eyeballs, which helps prevent memory loss. So that's pretty cool. Pablo. On day 24, Pablo, he caught 6 small, I mean small brook trout. Like, he'd probably take the 6 of those brook trout, the 6 of them combined might equal the size of Carrie Lee's brook trout she caught. He's like, you know what? It's better than nothing, though, which is right, folks. Out there, alone by yourself, you take whatever you can get and eat whatever you find. Well, he decided, I'm not even going to take the fish back to camp. He brought the pot with him, and he made a makeshift campfire right at the edge of the lake and sat down and enjoyed the nice scenery and cooked 3 of the fish up. And he took out of his pocket some berries he brought with him, just in case he caught something. And he put the berries in the pot and with the fish and added some flavor and ate 3 of them and sat there and just enjoyed himself. And the other 3 he saved and stored them for another day. Tom showed his journey. He decided, Tom did, to make a deadfall trap, which is pretty cool. It was like 2 sticks like this and a third one like across the top and a pair with some snare wire or something like that. If the squirrel or something goes by, it would trigger the deadfall trap and it'd fall down on it. He decided, I need a permanent shelter. He's done with the makeshift shelter. He decided his shelter is going to be kind of like a log cabin / mine shaft. He took a piece of wood and he dug into the edge of a hill. He got a lot dug in there. He dug in there quite a good few feet, right in the dirt. And then he built his shelter around it with wood and that. Stacked them on top of each other and that, and put some spruce spruce branches and that around his tarp and that. And he even took the rocks he found inside the hill and that he was digging through. And some he found on the ground and that, and some clay, and he made a chimney. Got his shelter up, so he's like, you know what, I'll go check my snares. Next day, he went out checking his snares, and the first 2, he didn't catch a thing. The third one, he caught a rabbit. Nice sized rabbit. He said, that'll give me 18 grams of fat and a lot of protein, folks. He said, so he took that back to camp, and he decided that he was going to cook it a lot longer than you usually do. So it softened up the tendons so he can eat those as well. Now, the final 2 people to talk about, Adam and Benji. It was close calls for them, folks. Adam, gotta admit, he's got a lot better shooting with the archery, bow and arrow skills. He killed 2 squirrels back to back within a matter of like a half hour, 500 yards away from his camp, and he hit them with picture perfect shots. Like, those arrows went right through the side of the heads of the squirrels. So he cooked those up back in his camp inside of a shelter. There's Hobbit style shelter. Cooked those up. And as he was talking to us through one of the makeshift windows he made. That was pretty cool. Well, on day 24, he wasn't feeling so good. He started having major stomach cramps, constipated, couldn't have a bowel movement for days. Kind of like what happened to Terry there. And he fought for sure. Like, he stood up all night worrying, like, I got a virus some kind. But he started listing off names of all these viruses you could pick up in the wild and stuff. Like bacterial stuff. Like he said, like, if I touched the squirrel and I touched the arrowhead, I could have, caught something about washing my hands on that. You never know, he said. So he decided to stay in the shelter all day and night until the next day. He still wasn't feeling good, so he went out, munched on some berries, and he also cut strips of bark from a tree, and he ate that. And the next day, he felt a lot better, folks, a lot better. Well, Benji wasn't so lucky, folks. I felt bad for Benji, what happened to him. On day 22, he was like feeling fantastic. He said, I got beaver meat, I'm smoked it to preserve it, got my shelter up, I got bear coming into where I was leaving bait for the bear to kill the bear. He said, I'm going to go after that bear. Next, he said, all that, just enjoying life, enjoying the scenery. He killed a grouse, had some more food, but here's what happened. He decided he wasn't going to waste none of the beaver stuff, beaver meat and that. So the hide of the beaver, which he had left out for a few days, still had some fat on it. So he sharpened his hatchet after he gathered some firewood, which he gathered a lot of firewood because he said the average person would burn between 400 to 700 calories just from gathering firewood, but chopping down trees and that. So he did his all within one day, so he didn't have to worry about that over a period of time. But anyways, he cooked the grouse up. Well, while he was doing that, he skinned the beaver hide, the fat off the beaver hide, using his hatchet. And he boiled that in a pot of water over the campfire into like a kind of like a soup form. And he poured that soup over the grouse meat. He ate it up, enjoyed it, and he said that would give me some fat intake, stuff like that. Well, he ended up getting food poisoning. He tried his best to hang it in there, folks, but he couldn't. On day 27, he tapped out at 6:13 a.m. in the night. He called to medical help because he had a high fever. He was constantly puking like all the time, just puking. And we'll kind of find out he got food poisoning because they said it was because the fat that was left on the beaver hide, it had spoiled over the few days that he had left on it there. And he said, that's a mistake he said everybody would make, because he said it's a 50-50 chance you take that. Is that fat good or is that meat good? The meat was good, but the fat wasn't. That was left on the beaver hide. So he said that's what got me. So I felt bad for him because the way he was going, folks, you knew for sure he was going to be one of the. I thought for sure he's going to be like one of the top 5 left. But no, he tapped out. Even actually, now I think I'm probably the final 3. I was rooting for Benji being one of the final 3, but he tapped out, folks, on day 27. It's a shame. Get well soon, Benji. Hope you feel better, man. So now we got 7 people left, folks. We got Terry, Adam, Tom, Tomojin, Pablo, Jesse, and Curie. And the only highlight to show for next week's episode is, for some reason, I don't know why yet, Tomojin shoots at something up a tree, misses, and his arrow gets stuck at the tree. So he goes up the tree to get the arrow, and he slips. So it doesn't show if he falls or not. So maybe he might hurt himself, or maybe he'll catch himself. You have to wait next week to see what happens there. Let me know below your thoughts of what happened to poor Benji and the food poisoning he got off the fat off the beaver hide there. And Adam was a close call too. He was about ready to tap out too, but he said, the bark for that tree. He said that's what helped me out. You remember that from his medical degree. He doesn't have a lot of medical degree like Tomojin, but he does have a medical degree. He said background. So good thinking there, Adam. So yeah, so who do you think's gonna be next, folks, to tap out? Who do you think's gonna win alone season 9? Stay safe, everybody. Too sweet. Bye.